Over the last many years, I've begun to hear a phrase come into the American vernacular more and more. This phrase rings true with today's readings. You can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? A person who can do both of these is an authentic person, a person with integrity, a person who practices what they preach. Now hang on. I'm sure that some of you are thinking, Deacon, hang on a second. I've seen you come up short on these. You're the hypocrite. Or I've heard you tell your students, fake it till you make it. Neither of these do I deny. I'm a sinner just like anybody else. I am striving to become a saint though. But the point that I desire to make here is that we should all strive to live and practice what we desire others to see, not just speak what we're desiring them to see. This is precisely what Jesus is saying to us in today's gospel. We heard from Luke over the past 2 weekends what it means to be a follower of Christ. If you think back, we heard, blessed are those who are poor. Blessed are the hungry, those who weep. Love your neighbor. Forgive to be forgiven. For the past 2 Sundays, we have heard what it means to be a Christian. But Jesus wasn't just giving us lip service there. He wasn't comfortable just giving us a bunch of words or commands, do this. He showed us by talking the talk and walking the walk. And he demands the same from us. Why? But because if we're to become the saints that we are intended to be, then we must too learn to walk the walk. But we know there are obstacles. I quote here from a book that I'm reading called Believe What You Read. But it is tough to walk the walk with a wooden beam in your eye. This parable suggests that the aspects of our lives where we may not be walking the walk, it involves an aspect that I would be willing to say that most of us struggle with. Judgment. We are great at talking the talk. Don't judge, forgive, be kind. But do we walk the walk? This is where the wooden beam comes in. It is our own faults. This beam is just that. The beam is our own faults. The more I read on this walking the walk, I read that psychologists have told us that the first things that we judge others on are the things that we struggle with. We look at somebody and say, they gossip. I gossip. We look at others and say, they're not walking the walk. They're not practicing what they preach. Well, I struggle with that too. It's those things that are looking back at us that we're seeing in others, the flaws that we project. Hence the beam. We can't see past our own flaws. So how do we learn to walk the walk? Well, again, I say it's not easy. But for me, I've already admitted that I'm trying to do this. I'm going to do what was commanded to me at my ordination. When our bishop handed me the book of the Gospels, and he held one end of the book and I held the other, he said to me, believe what you read, teach what you believe, and practice what you preach. I invite all of you to join me as I strive to become the saint that God intends me to be.